Hi, Carrie and Shreese.
We are going to talk about renting versus buying, but looking at it a little bit differently this time. I just had a client who is looking to purchase in a neighborhood and
In a specific neighborhood.
And has her down payment. She had the spreadsheet of what her payment would look like with Melrose, HOA, all of that stuff, taxes, insurance. And so her question was, what could she rent for in that same exact neighborhood? Because if rent is going to be lower than what her payment is going to look like, then it doesn't make sense for her to purchase there. So it was an interesting take on renting versus buying. So it's not that she's going to not purchase. We're just adjusting her price point to look in a different area that it is going to make sense for her to purchase versus continuing to rent.
Because typically you're looking at rent versus own, like on a bigger scale, not quite as specific, right? But I think for any first-time home buyer or any buyer that, I mean, she's not necessarily a first-time home buyer, but trying to come back into the market, I think you have to look at it like that, right? Like, what is your actual monthly output, and does it make sense for you?
Right.
I think people sometimes look at price and let price, like, feel like it prices them out of the market and makes them super anxious. I just met with a first-time home buyer yesterday. Not just the idea, but the number is scaring him out of the market. Versus looking at it like, okay, here are the actual numbers of my down and all the other fees that are going along with what I'm doing. Like,
versus what you're currently paying in rent. And
right. And where do you live now? And I think sometimes people get in their head like, okay, I'm going to buy a house and it has to be a laundry list of things.
It has to be perfect because I'm going to spend the rest of my life there. Like, no, like that, especially if you're starting out, you buy something that is going to be comparable to where you're living now, maybe, and spend 2 or 3 years there, gain equity. Don't pay somebody else's mortgage down, pay your own mortgage down, and then move into, like, slowly work your way up. I think a lot of buyers right now just have this.
She's lived on a futon for a time. I mean, and look at her now. I mean,
and
she could write her own book.
And this is still not where I want to be, but every 2 years, you
it's close
up.
It's further away from the train track than the last one, so, like, it's going in the right direction.
Totally.
The next thing you know, she's going to be in Lazy Creek, and everybody's going to be like, how?
Every 2 years. You don't move, well, I don't have money to move into my perfect home first shot. Most people don't.
No, most people don't. We did a video with a designer that we've been working with, and what'd she say? She's moved 12 times. She actually beat Shreese. So, like, somebody else in the world has moved more than Shreese.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you know the timeline, though. But honestly, it is a strategy, right? She lives in a beautiful home in North Tustin. So, I think it is a strategy, though. And I think people have to understand and really look and honestly look at the way they live and what they pay for the way that they live.
Right.
Right? Because right now, as you pay rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage. So
if you can have a similar mortgage payment and live in a similar lifestyle, it's not going to be the perfect house, but a similar lifestyle so that you're not house poor and it financially makes sense so that you can make the next jump in 2 or 3 years.
And I think sometimes it comes across as we are, like, pushing people into what is maybe a little bit more of, like, an uncomfortable place to be as you're making a purchase. It is a big decision. It is a big spend. But, like, if you're even close to what you're paying now, it shouldn't be that big of a life altering or changing from a financial standpoint, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going, I mean, it doesn't have to be, and it's not going to be.
No, it's
not. It is the hardest thing for the people without the vision. But that is where you're going to gain the most equity. Because you're buying something that is total crap.
Right.
Right? I mean, at least maybe not crap to the people who live there, obviously. But, like, you're going to make it so that you have a bigger buyer pool as you're fixing it and going, right? So whatever money you're putting in, especially where we are right now, you're going to get that money back out.
Absolutely. So just another take on
rent
versus own that one of our super smart clients brought up to me yesterday.
Let us know if we can help you figure it out.